Welcome to the Tales Slate. I'm Ben Stacy, and today I'm talking about Survivor Kaoh Rong, episode 12. You'll notice that my co-host Tim is not here. He is away this week, so you just got me. Now, this was an interesting episode. It ended up being sort of the obvious person that got voted out, but by the beginning of the episode, I wasn't totally sure where it would go. I wasn't totally sure that Jason would actually be the one to get voted out. I almost felt bad for Jason. Almost he'd had everything go wrong to this point, and he had mentioned that nobody seems to want to make a move, and he was right that if anyone else wanted to make a move to make their position better, now would have been the time to do it. We had some really cool challenges in this episode. The reward challenge was one of the best challenges I've ever seen. The ball maze on a floating platform where the people had to move around and use their weight to move the ball around. That was really cool. We had Ty, Michelle, and Jason on the one team. They were the team that won. And as they won, I thought this might be a good opportunity for the three of them to realize that they would be a good final three. Unfortunately, they seemed pretty set on what they wanted. Ty targeting Michelle, thinking Michelle was a threat. It also looks like we're going to get a final two, not a final three in this season. So that's going to be a little bit more interesting to see how that works out when the players realize that it's going to be a final two, not a final three. The immunity challenge was also really cool. We'd seen a similar challenge before in other seasons where you have to balance blocks on and stack them on this teetering thing attached to a rope, and you have to go back and forth and put them on. But this was interesting because they had to spell out the word immunity. And it was pretty interesting to watch how most of the people dropped when they had spelled unity. And then it was hilarious watching Joe have trouble spelling when he had dropped his and tried to respell. He put the wrong letters on. And he even made the comment, it's funny until, Jeff made the comment, it's funny until you get to tribal. And he's absolutely right. Let's see, Sydney won that challenge. And then I was saying, okay, so what's going to happen here? Sydney seemed to want to target Joe. Ty wanted to target Michelle. And Ty, my gosh, it's a good thing he had an idol because he seemed to be digging himself a hole. The way he was talking and sort of trying to push the vote to the way he wanted it was not good. In the end, he used his advantage. That could have worked had one more person voted for Michelle. His extra vote would have helped, but ultimately it didn't. So you could say it was wasted, perhaps, but he only has until the next tribal to use it anyway. Ultimately, Jason gone, and Michelle is still in it. Now, I am hoping that Michelle is the winner. My choices keep changing, and I'm never too sure in this season. That's one of the great things about this season is it's hard to predict who's going to win. And right now, my money's on Michelle. I think if Michelle and Ty, even though they were sort of adversaries in this, realized that they could get together, they would be a good final two. They'd be good because I think Michelle would almost definitely win against Ty. Michelle would probably win against anybody but Aubrey in the final two. So we'll see how that plays out. Even though this episode was a bit more, not as much maneuvering and exciting gameplay happening, it was still a good episode. But I expect that the next couple of episodes, as we go into the finale, are going to be fantastic. And it's going to be an amazing finish to an amazing season.